So far, we have covered creating a budget by hand, Google Spreadsheets, and Mint. I think that is more than sufficient for you to be successful in paying off your debt. However, there is one more budgeting strategy I want to include, and it's the envelope strategy. I think this strategy is worth noting in the course because some things just click for certain people. This may be the strategy that clicks best for you because it's, who knows? Some people just think differently, and this might be the one for you. So, what is the envelope budgeting strategy? Essentially, you're taking those categories we've created in our budgets and assigning them to an envelope. Each of those envelopes are then labeled with the category name, and the amount of money we've assigned to those categories goes inside of the envelope. From there, you can only spend the money from X envelope that on things that are in the X category. So, how it works in a little more detail is you're going to define categories as we've been doing. You're going to set spending limits as we've been doing. And then you're going to label the envelopes, whatever those categories are. So then you're going to throw the cash you've assigned to each category into these envelopes. This is a cash only system. That being said, there are a few additional details here, such as how often should you go to the bank and take out money? Some do once a month, some do each paycheck, some do once a week to keep that spending low. All of those are fine with me personally. If I was paid once a month, I'd go get the cash once per month so I could pick up my new cash and deposit the cash I didn't spend from the previous month. But we both know that extra cash is going straight into our debt. If I was paid bi-weekly, I would pick it up bi-weekly. There's no real rhyme or reason to that. I just think it makes the most logical sense. When you do go and pick up your money from the bank, your cash, be sure to get smaller bills to make it easier to break up your allotted funds. If your grocery budget is $321, you're going to need a one. So you want to get ones, fives, and 20s. Having all 100s might make it a little tough on you. Additionally, once you have all of your money in envelopes, you're going to want to keep it in a secure location because now you just have cash floating around in here. But you're also going to need to have it in a quickly accessible location so you can snag it. Or if you believe that you'll be tempted to pull from other envelopes, have it in a quick enough location. Remember that friction makes things harder to do. So don't get tempted to steal from other envelopes. That defeats the purpose. So here's what I recommend doing while you can track things while you are using the envelope system. Utilize a T-table to help you track how much is in the envelope. So let's say you have your grocery envelope here. Let's just imagine this envelope is only for groceries and your allocated amount of funds is 300 bones. You go to the store and you spend 146 bones. You'll then have this 300 at the top, write down the 146 beneath it, and then you're going to do some subtraction. That math is so wrong. Oh my gosh. This isn't the amount you would have. 300 minus 146 is so wrong. Don't be like this. Do your math right is all I really have to say. But this is still a good example of how you should set it up. That's hilarious. The other option that you can do is if you have a smaller amount of categories, you can actually share the envelope with two categories. And some might say that this defeats the purpose, but not always. I think, if you find yourself in a pickle where you need something from the grocery store, I'm talking toilet paper, this is like an emergency, and you're out of your grocery money, you got $0 here because you definitely spent the full 300 with your math. You can then take the money from this category and spend it in this category. So then if you needed $25 for toilet paper, it's a lot of toilet paper, you just have negative 25 over here, and then you have 25 left. But then you'd also be having that. You could even pull the 25 here and just subtract it there. Does that make sense? Because you're pulling it from the other category. The misconception that some people have is that if you need more money in your grocery envelope, you should take from next week's allowance or next month's allowance of the groceries. And that is incredibly wrong because that is how you stay in debt. You're overspending once again. So you can only spend the money you have in the envelope, never more. You're never taking in advance from yourself, and being able to share the money between these two categories helps you to save because it's like, man, I don't want to take from my entertainment fund. It prevents you from getting This doing it this way prevents you from getting yourself into more debt, and it kind of helps you save because you're like, I'm trying to keep this extra $50 in here so I can do something fun. So here's what I like about this strategy. And the pros are that cash is king. If you can't afford to pay for it in cash, you simply cannot afford it. And I believe that's true. That is 100% true. Otherwise, you're borrowing money, right? And that's how we got into debt in the first place. And because of that very reason, it makes it hard to overspend. The cash has to be there in order for you to pay for whatever it is. If your shopping budget is $50 and you open up your shopping budget envelope and it's empty, shoot, that's it. You're already shopped out for the month. I think this is a great strategy for families or married couples. It seems like an easy way to communicate about where the money is going and or where the money went. You know, if you guys have date night, that'll come out of the entertainment or date night envelope. It's not like, well, I'm not sure if we can or cannot go out to eat. You check the envelope and see if the money is there to do it. But it will take communication if you're like, where's the grocery envelope? Oh, your husband took it or your spouse wife took it. Probably have to communicate in that area. There's actually psychology of spending cash versus spending with cards that I think plays a factor here. In a 2008 paper in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, researchers found that there are significant differences in spending based on how shoppers pay for things. Their main argument being that, and I am quoting this, the more transparent the payment outflow, the greater the aversion to spending or higher the pain of paying, leading to less transparent payment modes such as a credit card or a gift card versus cash being more easily spent or treated as play or monopoly money. So they also made points about how credit card users not only spend more, but they purchase more unhealthy things. And those who pay with cash enjoy a better relationship with their purchased products. So the envelope strategy plays to your advantage in this way of it's going to be painful every time you hand over cash rather than swiping that credit card and being like, I don't even remember what I spent. So what I don't like about this strategy, because there are cons, I think, at least a small amount, is it can be slightly inconvenient if you if you forget your envelope at home, you're going to have to go home and get it, and then you have to bring it back. But that's a good thing. I will also say there's a pro to having it be inconvenient because it'll ensure that you only spend what you have. So view that inconvenience with gratitude, but I did want to mention it. That is the envelope strategy. And next, we're going to be diving into our approaches to how we can actually pay debt, the strategy of how you're paying your debt. So I will see you there. Goodbye.